Howdy doody duties. Well, here we are into the second week of December, or you might say it's the second week going into Christmas. Hey, what'd you get me, huh? You hear that a lot, don't you? From people, what'd you get me? Especially kids. What am I going to get for Christmas? Well, you know, Christmas really should be more of a time of giving. Do you ever think about the joy you get from giving? The real, genuine, good feeling you get when you give of yourself and you give from the heart because of the thrill of just giving. I think the Hebrews have it right. The Jewish religion says that there's 7 levels to giving, and the highest of those levels is when you give anonymously and someone receives anonymously. That kind of means that what you give, you don't really know where it goes. You just give it, and then someone that gets it, they don't know where it comes from. They just get it. And that's high level. Of course, in this day and age, there's so many scammers out there taking advantage of everybody. You got to be a little more cautious than that. But on the other hand, you really don't. How many people do you know that could use a little help? How many organizations do you know that could use a little help? They don't need to know where it comes from. The other day, someone told me about a young fella that needed to go on a trip and wanted to go with his church group and just couldn't bring up the money. Well, I put his name on the envelope, and I put some money in that envelope, and not a check, money. I went out and got that cash and mailed it to the church with that boy's name on it. Now, they don't know where it came from, do they? It made me feel so good. I just thought, well, gee whiz, here's a worthy little fella. He wants to go. I guess he wasn't too little. He was about 16. But he wanted to go on a trip. He wanted to share what he had with his church. I might even add, it was a rather fundamental church. It isn't the kind that we are, open-minded and thinking for themselves. It was a church that has a different idea. They believe that you have to confess your sins and be saved and do a lot of other, and belong to that church, I might add. Isn't that funny how many religions think they're the only ones that know God, and if you don't do it their way, you ain't going to make it? That is a funny thing. Nowhere in the Bible did it ever say that it didn't say it had to be this way or that way or any other way. It's just the way people are. We put our own spin on things, and we make things go the way they want to. Well, I don't know if that boy ever is going to go on the trip or if he got enough money together. I hope what I sent helped. But even if it didn't, I don't care. Because I had the joy of giving. And I had the joy. I wish I could have been more anonymous. I wish I would have known about the boy and just given. You see, my joy would have just been in giving, not just giving to the boy, but his receiving anonymously. He got something out of it. Now, I do hope that at this time of year, you think more about forgiving. There's another kind of giving, forgiving. That's what it's all about. Start by forgiving yourself. Anything you think you've done wrong, and God only knows we've all done a lot wrong. I sure have. And I want to do better. I'm going to do better. I am doing better. That's the whole secret, is do as good as you can and forgive yourself first, and then forgive anybody you think may have wronged you any way, shape, or form. And you may not forget. Nobody ever says forgive. They do say forgive and forget, but no, forget's not wise, not in this day and age. I think we need to remember, but we don't need to feel. We don't need to feel the hurts and the anger and all that. We just need to forgive. Why, when one of the boys said to Jesus, remember, how many times should I forgive? I've already forgiven 7. And Jesus said, well, how about 70 times 7? He could have said 700 times 7. But the idea is you only need to forgive once if it's really. And also that's forgiving. Whatever you give to anyone or anybody or any organization, do it from the heart with all the love you've got. I'll talk to you next week. God love you. His name is wonderful.